We have the Kewalo Hawaiian Homestead Association, and we used to have the Kalawahine Streamside Association. Also, besides that, we also have a couple of different other organizations, like we have the Papakōlea Hawaiian Civic Club. So that's one of the newer ones that we have in our community. That's 501c3. We also have the over in the Kewalo area, we have another organization, which is the Āina, and that is the one that actually took over from the Kalawahine Streamside. And of course, we have the Papakōlea Community Development Corporation, and that is the organization that is in charge of running the community center. And so, in total, we have 7 different organizations in community. And so that was my part. So thank you very much. Auntie Emma will be up here shortly in the corner, and she will be taking applications. We're always looking for a membership for the Papakōlea Community Association. So if you want to find out more of what goes on in this community, please attend our monthly meetings, which we normally have at the community center. Other than that, I will turn it over to this beautiful woman here, and thank you again very much for your time.
I'm just a little bit shorter than you. Aloha Āina. Aloha Papakōlea. Mahalo nui for welcoming us here and having your Aloha Āina of Papakōlea. This is the second time that our hui has come here to share with the Papakōlea community. And again, mahalo you very, very deeply, because Papakōlea is one of the strongholds of Kanaka Maoli. Today, we're going to share with you this process. And this process that we're talking about for our community is a community process. It's to define by you about where you want your community to go, the direction that you'd like your community going. And we really honor the Papakōlea Community Association, all the organizations that are here, because you guys have a long history of taking care of your own. And we want to honor that, and we actually come to you guys from Manao. We're going to have some speakers that will share things, but the majority of the day, we would like to hear what Papakōlea wants for Papakōlea. I'm one of the co-organizers and founders of Aloha, and mahalo nui. And so the next wonderful person that I would like to introduce up to the mic is one of the people that has been a great long-time leader, warrior, struggler for the Kanaka Maoli people. He's been involved in a long time with struggles like the Haolage. He's also been a professor over at the University of Hawaii. He also represents our people at the United Nations. And I feel very honored to have him be a part of our community. I'd like to introduce Professor John Osorio. So Professor John Osorio, he's a prolific writer, he's a researcher, he's a musician, he is a wonderful father and a husband. He is one of our wonderful, our leaders who is a great example of sharing and learning and joy. All right. And so he's, for those who of you here know John Osorio's music. What's your favorite song? The Hawaiian Eyes?
Hawaiian Soul.
Hawaiian Soul. Yeah, that's my favorite too. Most of them are kind of high up there, but yeah, I would say Hawaiian Soul is it goes up a little bit more than that. But yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. And that's a story, for those of you who do you know what you want to share what the story is about? So the story of Hawaiian Soul is, for those of you who remember all the struggles that we happened to our community. One of the struggles that we had was protecting Papakōlea, and the bombing that happened over there. And he was one of the great leaders of that. And during that struggle, we lost a great warrior. Who was that warrior? Okay, one was Georgetown. And what the second one was? Kino Mitchell. Two wonderful warriors for our people that were lost at sea. And since then, there have also been many other warriors that we have lost, but we remember them. And this song is one that we bring out. And most recently, he sang it in honor of 3 of our leaders that we lost recently: Papakōlea Blaisdell, Puhipa Ahmad, and Leanne Jerwai. So, Papakōlea? Okay. Welcome to the night. Johnny, sorry.
Thank you, my dear. Mahalo to all of you for allowing Aloha Āina to be here and to present, but also to share with you. And thank you for welcoming me here. It's really wonderful to be a part of this community, even for a little while. If it's all right with you, I won't sing Hawaiian Soul at the beginning. I had a different idea in mind, because I want to talk a little bit about community building, and then I will sing Hawaiian Soul at the end. I grew up in Keaukaha, which is Hawaiian homelands on Hawaii Island in Hilo. We weren't born in Keaukaha, but my family lived there when I was very, very young, and I grew up there as a child. And one of the things that I learned in Keaukaha is how much of a community it is. The real beauty of places like Keaukaha and Papakōlea and Nanakuli and Waimanalo and Anahola is not just the Āina, but it's actually the people who live in that community. And they take care of each other, they fight with each other, they cause a great deal of hoo-hoo as well, but they really do care for each other, they look after each other, and they pay attention. So I'm going to sing this song from Keaukaha because I didn't have time to learn a song from Papakōlea, and because Keaukaha is, after all, our Āina. And it's just to express how really, really, really beautiful these communities are, and how, more than anything else, we need to strengthen them. This song was written by Lina Machado. Thank you very much. Bravo. So I'm just going to make this really as short and as to the point as I can. In 2014, hundreds of Kanaka-Maoli, probably people from this community as well, went down to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And they went over several occasions. Mostly we went there in order to slow the Office of Hawaiian Affairs support for Kanai'oluwalu and what eventually became the Na'iaupuni Constitutional Convention. The people who went there were trying to get OHA to stop, to pause. You know, the state had passed the law that created the Hawaiian role. We saw people, not very many people, signing up for that role. We saw different ways in which the supporters of Kanai'oluwalu tried to make that role bigger than it was. And we saw the Office of Hawaiian Affairs required by law to pay for that role and for the convention with our money, with money that really was set aside for the benefit of all Kanaka-Maoli. And we tried to tell the Office of Hawaiian Affairs trustees, and really there were hundreds of us there. I remember one day in particular in which we were asked to leave the room, so hundreds of us were outside singing patriotic songs. And we sang so loud, the voices were so loud and penetrating that they basically had to stop their business until we stopped. I remember that really clearly. And yes, it was a wonderful sight. People kept asking, why are you stopping this progress? Don't you want to move forward? And the answer that we gave over and over again is, yes, we want to move forward, but we want to move forward properly. And what was actually wrong with Kanai'oluwalu and with the Na'iaupuni process? The most important thing that was wrong is that organization really didn't represent our people. It did not represent the Lahu. What it did represent was the wishes of the state government. It did represent the wishes of a few community organizations like the Council for Native Hawaiian Affairs. It did represent the wishes of some of the leadership in Shah, but it did not represent the dreams and hopes and aspirations of all of Kanaka-Maoli, or at least even a majority of the Kanaka-Maoli. And the reason it didn't is because they never asked us. They didn't. If you think about this, you realize that the OHA process and the Na'iaupuni process was all about, hey, whoever wants to be a delegate, see if you can get 25 people to support you. And so there were like 250, 260 people who were candidates for delegates. Then the US Supreme Court says, hey, you can't have this election. So what they do is they take all the delegates who want to participate, and they say, you will represent the people in the community at this constitutional convention. None of this was pono, none of this really, and the problem is that none of this could ever really work, because they weren't speaking for anybody. This is not to say that Na'iaupuni isn't a community, it is. Shah is a community, CNHA is a community, but they are only 3 or 4 communities, and they do not speak for the communities of Papakōlea. They do not speak for the communities of Waimanalo and Nanakuli and Keokaha or Anahola. They don't speak for all of those communities because they've never really tried. They have never, in all of the years that OHA has been sort of doing this, what they call nation building, have they come here to an organization, to a day like this, to talk to you? Are they here today? Have they come to talk to you about what it is to ask you what you want? I have been to OHA organizational talks, and what they always do is they say, here's our plan, here's how you fit into it. But has anybody ever asked you, what is it you want? What is it you need as a Kanaka-Maoli? What will make this nation real and valuable, vai to you? They have not done this because OHA doesn't believe in that kind of process. What OHA believes in is, we get a bunch of experts together, we figure out what is good, we set this up, and we tell people, this is it. It cannot work. It cannot work because we're talking here not about just some kind of organization or agency. We are talking about nationhood. And nationhood requires commitment from the people. It requires a sense of loyalty, a sense of trust. A nation really only is as good as its people. All right, so we were telling the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, stop this process, stop Na'iaupuni, stop the support for Na'iaupuni, stop the support for the convention, and engage in real nation building. And when they asked us what we meant by that, we said, we want a process that might take the next 10, 15, or 20 years. We want you to take the money that you've been spending for this organization and actually train and hire our own people to go out into the communities and find out what people want. What if, in gatherings like this, instead of having a whole bunch of people tell you what you should want, we had people saying, okay, you guys represent the community of Papakōlea. What is it that you need as a community from your government, from your national government? How would you like to see this happen? And break people up, take days to do this. And remember this, we're not really only talking about physical communities, because Hawaiians don't only live in physical communities. You know, many Hawaiians are fortunate to live on Hawaiian homelands around other Hawaiians. Many other Hawaiians like me don't. But we are still part of Hawaiian communities. We have fishermen who are part of Hawaiian communities. They, regardless of the fact that they don't fish in the same fisheries, they face the same kinds of challenges in the future, right? Fisheries that are increasingly depleted of fish, coral that's being killed by global warming and by runoff. We have farmers, right? They don't all live in the same farming community, but they face similar kinds of situations. Lack of water, the taking of water by big organizations like Alexander and Baldwin. And you know, when you hear from those people, you hear from those people when they go to state legislatures and city councils and protest laws that don't meet their needs. Instead of waiting to hear them protest, why don't we go to those communities and say, what do you need written into the laws of our nation that will protect your resources and protect your access to them? Do you see where I'm going with this? Nation building is something that should take place from the bottom up. It needs to consult with the people who live in communities. It needs to consult with different kinds, Hawaiians who engage in different kinds of activities, and it needs to put this together over what will probably be a very long time. But it is the only thing in my mind that can work. And so the last thing I'm going to say about this is, and I say this with aloha to all of the people who have worked so hard to reinstate the Kingdom of Hawaii. I believe that their intentions are right and correct. But I think that even the process by which we're working toward the kingdom still does not consult the people enough. We need to go out into the communities. We need to actually ramp up our engagement with communities and get people to spell out very, very, very specifically what it is they require from their government. And if the office, and I want to say this, I do not think that the Office of Hawaiian Affairs is going to sponsor this tomorrow. But if we could have taken that $4 million that they have spent over the process of Kana'i'oluwalu and Na'iaupuni, if we had taken that $4 million and trained Kanaka Maoli facilitators and hired them to go out into the communities and paid basically for the ability to hold these things and committed ourselves to do this over 5 years or 6 years or even a decade if necessary, we would be much further along now in the process of creating a unified Hawaiian government than we are. We have never been farther away from it, actually, because Na'iaupuni stands as something that many of us oppose. So how do we start this? If we cannot get wealthy organizations like OHA to sponsor this, then we need to start this process on our own, and I think that's exactly what Aloha Āina has done. And that's why we have to give them a hand. With very limited resources, but a great deal of willingness to put in time and effort and their own money, this is what we can create. And we can do more, but we need people to basically say, how do we find the money, how do we find the funds to be able to do this on a bigger scale? And we need to do this. That is actually the answer that we need to give to organizations like SHA and CNHA and Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Your way doesn't work. Your way doesn't work. This will work. Going to the communities, taking the time, finding out what they want, not simply prescribing to them. This is the answer to nation building, and it needs to start. Aloha Āina has started this process. We need to continue it, and I'm grateful for the chance to talk to you about this today. Mahalo. Are you sure? Okay. Is this one side? For George Hellman Kimo Mitchell, we were lost from the Ho'olawe Island. I can recall the way your voice would fill the room. We would all be still by your melody, and now your voice is gone, and to the sea belongs all of the gentle songs that you have harbored. Hawaiian soul, how could you leave us? You've not been lost at sea, you're only wandering. Hawaiian soul, we sing your melodies and send them out to sea. You know the harmony. They say before you left to seek your destiny, that older voices call and drown your laughter. But I believe you knew what you would have to be, become in the storm to guide us after. Oh,
Hey, John. I love his music. It kind of always makes me kind of want to cry though. But like, in a good way, the kind you like cry because you're just in love with our people. So, we have a little bit of Papakōlea trivia here. So, for those of you who know, what is the name of, and there's a prize associated with this, okay? What was the name of the market in Papakōlea? What's that? Come on, oh shoot, how many people? Okay, wait, you guys don't share, you're gonna t-shirt, that's why. Okay, I'm gonna let you come along right on. And could you share your name? Cookie? Cookie, what size is your shirt? Extra large. And will somebody bring a Aloha Āina t-shirt? One of these beautiful Aloha Āina t-shirts. Woo! Thank you, Cookie. Yes, that is the one market in Papakōlea. So mahalo for that. So we wanted to share a little bit of information about the history of Kanai'olavalu. So who here knows what Ka'uinoa, Kanai'olavalu, Na'iopuni, this group called Hawaiian Nation, and Aloha Lahui have in common? Does anybody know? You guys want me to go through the palapala? Okay, so if we got some of our beautiful Papakōlea wahine koa sharing the palapala that we'd like to share with you. And there's two sides. And one goes into more detail that we talked about the history. But I'd like to bring your attention to the side that has this lock gate. And the lock gate symbol came from the mana'o of at this golf course in Kailua. Many times our community came to observe or participate in this process, and they found that the gates were locked against us. And I'd like to go over the history of how this whole process started. Basically, it starts before Kanai'olavalu. Back in the 2000s, or after, there was an act called the Akaka Bill that was sought to seek federal recognition for Native Hawaiians. Following that, in Act 195, the state of Hawaii in 2011 created the Kanai'olavalu Rolls. And they gave millions of dollars to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, a state agency, to enroll 200,000 kanaka. Now this bill, only 19,000 people signed up because OHA had lost the faith of the community. They weren't trusting what they were going to do with this. So, 2013, State of Hawaii passes Act 77, allowing 80,000 names to be transferred over from 3 lists onto the Kanai'olavalu roll. So, who here has either themselves or a loved one, your name or a loved one's name, or even there are deceased kupuna whose names are on this list that they're saying represents the Kanaka Maoli people? So by a show of hands, if you or a family member or somebody that you know and love, if their name is on this list, please raise your hand. How many? Okay, so just a few. There's a few people. So maybe a tenth of the audience. How many of you guys don't know for sure if you are on the list or not on the list? Raise your hand. Okay. All right, so you don't know. So that's another quarter, okay? How many of you guys know that you aren't on the list, or you have a family member or a loved one that is not on the list? Raise your hand. So we have this whole, that's about half, okay? So we got about a quarter that are on, that know somebody, then about a quarter that are on there without, their consent, then you have about half that or that you don't even know. People don't know, right? So that's what our community is. You're on it, or you're not on it with the consent, or you don't know. So what Act 195 did was it defined who was Native Hawaiian. Not according to our rules, not according to our Manao, but according to the state of Hawaii. And this was based upon a Manao that was concerned about the rights versus Cayetano. Their argument was Native Hawaiian entitlements, Kanaka Maoli entitlements, were going to be taken away. Now, this is the protection that they put into place. And they're saying this list would then define who is and who is not Kanaka Maoli. Now, does the state of Hawaii have the right to define who is and who is not Kanaka Maoli? By show of hands, who believes that the state should define who is and who isn't Hawaiian? 0, right? Who should define who is Kanaka Maoli? By show of hands, who should say it should be defined by our community? Hands raised. Who believes that our community should have the right to define who is and who isn't Kanaka Maoli? And that's pretty much 100% of the people here. Now, who here participated in creating the definition for what is a Native Hawaiian? Raise your hand. By the State of Hawaii Act 195. Who here participated in that definition? So 100% said we should define it. And 100% here said we had absolutely no consultation and no participation in deciding who belongs to this Native Hawaiian role. So what happened is they then took $2.6 million from OHA to then transfer that money over to Nagyapuni, and from that, the role was created. And from in AHA in 2016, they had from February 1st to 26th, they had 151 unelected delegates, and you only could participate if you were on this role that defined who was Hawaiian or wasn't Hawaiian by somebody that was not part of the community, definitely not the Papakōlea community. And they then created this constitution. Now, this constitution, the reason why it's concerning is those of us who believe that the Hawaiian kingdom, our kingdom and our queen, never relinquished our sovereignty, never relinquished our right. You say, okay, that's their rules. But the concern is, and I'm a kauka, and I write grants, I provide services to Kanaka Maoli. I go out, people are homeless, people are hungry, people need health care, they need scholarships. I'm part of those kind of people that do those things and help provide services. So what does this mean? If they define who is Hawaiian and who is not, and they're saying that this is a mechanism, then this means the potential is huge. So who can apply to Kamehameha schools? How do they define that? Anybody? Who can apply? Who has priority, right? Native Hawaiians, according to their checkoff list, right? Who can apply for Hawaiian homelands? Okay, it's 50%. You can, right? You can. Because why? They call you Native Hawaiian, right? Right? Because you're Hawaiian. But in their pala, they call you Native Hawaiian, okay? Same thing with OHA with scholarships, grants, resources. Now, if this group is defining who is Native Hawaiian, that means that they'll have potentially the power under these structures to define who gets these services. So whether you agree with them or not, whether you believe it's a good process or not, this is something that is going to affect all of us. Because I know for me, I needed a scholarship. My family couldn't afford putting me through school. We needed help at times where, we have, my sister, she's half of her children are half orphan because the father isn't present in their lives anymore because he was lost to drugs. So she gets services to Queen Liliuokalani Children's Center, which defines services under Native Hawaiian. We need these services to survive to the next day. And if like 80% of our people, there's more than 500,000 people, that are Kanaka Maoli, as they've divided by the census. If only 100,000 people are on this list, that means that 8 out of 10 of our people may potentially be unable to apply for services for Native Hawaiians defined by the state of Hawaii in 2011. Kind of scary, huh? This is a scary thing. For myself, I got pretty scared. And you know what? I removed my ohana. Our ohana removed our names from the list because we refuse to participate in any process that leaves out 80% of our people from the inheritance that was given to us by our kupuna and our alii. Even if we could benefit from it, we refuse because a'ole pono that kind. You cannot benefit individuals at the cost of the entire lahui. That's not Hawaiian. That, I will venture to say, I'm going to be able to make a little bit of a decision here. I'm going to pretend like I'm not Ipuni for a second and say, that's not Hawaiian. That's not Hawaiian. Who here thinks that 20% of our people should have the right to these resources while 80% who are not on this roll cannot? By show of hands, who thinks that's okay? Who thinks that's Hawaiian? Who thinks that's Native Hawaiian? Nobody. Nobody here. So this is why we're bringing our responses. We need to bring this information to the community. We have to share this with people so that people know that this is all happening. Right now, they're having a tour with this Constitution going from the East Coast to the West Coast to the East Coast, culminating in DC and the United Nations, saying this is the voice of the Hawaiian people. And who here is participating with that voice? Who here believes that voice is going to watch out for you and your families? Nobody. Why? Because they didn't come to Papakōlea. They didn't come to you guys. And they're afraid to come to you guys. Because Papakōlea's voice is strong. The people are strong. And if they have to ask you guys permission, you might not give it. But that's the right of your ancestry, and that's a right that you guys have as a community. One community, like John said, one community is not allowed to make the decisions for all. So, any questions on that real fast? You guys can read through this, okay? What we're gonna do next is we're gonna go into that a little bit further. Andre Perez and Eho King Lau are gonna come after we go through this exercise that we have for you that was brought to us from our kupuna. And one of the researchers, Kalania Kea Wilson, was a part of this group of Hamana and Hilo who researched this ancient tradition of how Kanaka Maoli looked at governance. And that came from the research they had with David Malo. So David Malo shared the keynote, wrote it down for us, and shared it with us. And now Kalania Kea Wilson, whee, Kalani, makakao. Okay, Kalani's gonna get ready. Leigh's gonna share something real fast.
Aloha. Again, my name is Lei Anuenue. I'm from Papakōlea. I no longer reside here though, but everywhere I go, Papakōlea is in me. And I would like to share a little activity as part of the hosting coordinating group today. We actually are called, as our working theme is called A'apo. A'apo means to grab mentally, seize that understanding very quickly. So our intent behind here when we were asked by the Aloha Āina platform, that would be my daughter then, to see if we can host a political forum, educational forum, informational forum here in Papakōlea. And I'd like to actually make some who's on the team. Our A'apo team consists of Kaleha Kamau, who spoke earlier, Pekelo Terry, he also spoke earlier, Kehao, Des Terry, that she's our cook, we all know about her, so we know what kind of food she does. And then there is Nani Omarad, she's around here somewhere, she is, right there she is. Okay, she's practically the utilities person here, moves a lot of information, you wouldn't believe, I don't know if that girl sleeps. I'm still getting text messages at 3 a.m. in the morning. And then there is also Healani, who is also a part of Kalama's other half in the Aha Aloha Āina organization. She currently is on Molokai, and they had a successful Aha on Thursday evening. And then, of course, this is my daughter, Kalama Miheo, who has been very helpful in spearheading the political Kanaka Maoli awareness towards self-determination in the multiple paths. And then there's me, Lei. So one of the activities I would like to invite everyone here is we are creating an aha, which is the chord. Okay, and then an aha is also means an assembly. Okay, like we're doing right now, we're pulling everybody together. We have one chord, it's in the yellow la'au, that is for Papakōlea. We want to create an aha, a chord or genealogical record, or more or less the genealogical spinal cord of the residents of Papakōlea, both who have lived here for 4 or 5 generations, and they will take that color green, or those who have journeyed on, like my parents and several of our grandparents that have lived here too. And then myself, people who were from Papakōlea but are no longer in Papakōlea. And then the other one is the AHA, which is relative of this form right here, a national platform identifying Kanaka Maoli awareness and inviting those who support Kanaka Maoli awareness towards the path of self-determination and towards the path of independence that is least discussed in many of the OHA past gatherings. So once again, when you have the time throughout the course of the day, this AHA right here, this AHA over here was created for just this occasion. And part of it is to create this link back, not only to our home bases, but this link between all the people in Hawaii that supports our Hawaiian national identity and where we come from. Okay? Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Kalani Akea Wilson, the man behind the Kanaka Kino. All right. Aloha.
Aloha I nā kūpuna, aloha I nā makaina nā, aloha kalahui. O wau Kalani Akea Wilson, no ka moku o ke ave mai au. He ohana maani na inoa o ka ulu la'au. Aloha everyone, my name is Kalani Akea Wilson. I'm from the Big Island. My family here, from what I heard from my grandmother, is Ka'ulu La'au. So when I read the article, I was like, hey, that's my granduncle. And I never knew I had a lot of ohana over here. So for me, I always look for the ohana connections, and after I do that, then I can share the mo'olelo, yeah, that I'm going to share today about the kino. So when we heard about the Na'iaupuni event of creating a Hawaiian Constitution, In Kalapana, Uncle Sam Keli Ho'omalu is the Ohanas that I collaborate and work with. He said, hey, we gotta do something. Because these guys are gonna make one constitution, they're gonna lie on top, and they're gonna take away all of our stuff. So 3 months before that, on November 28, 2015, does anybody, oh, I know some of you guys know. November 28, 1843, Kamehameha III. It's our second national holiday called La Ku'oko'a. Can everyone say La Ku'oko'a? La Ku'oko'a. Okay, that was our Hawaiian Independence Day. After Sanford B. Dole threw the Queen in prison, he changed the holiday La Ku'oko'a to Thanksgiving. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in my family just celebrating Thanksgiving in November. Not until I started to do research in Hawaiian did I found out that I was duped, I was lied to, and I didn't know my history. I didn't know who I was. So about 25 years ago, I focused on just reading Hawaiian language resources because I wanted to know who I was as a Hawaiian, because I'm a trust beneficiary, I'm on the list. Yeah, I want to know what my ancestors said. So I'm going to share with you part of that, and then we're going to get into how the kino can be used with your community here. Ua olo a haoli ho'i mākou I ka hae Hawaii pa ia maluna e olo ana no ho'i pahaka po e lawe I ka nupepa ku'oko'a I ka nāna ana. Ua kau mākou I ka hae no ki koe ia ana mai ko mākou aloha nui ko kako mo ia me ka mo'i waine a me ka haku o Hawaii. Ka laua ke ki a me ke au puni ho'i o kako. He mea mau ki aloha o na maka aina ana I ka hae o ko lako Āina I ko lako wā I ki a iaia I velo ana. E ho'opiha mai no paha ia I ka na'au me ka oli oli. We are much pleased with the beautiful flag printed above, and all of our readers will also be pleased in seeing it. We have been to some expense and labor to print it out of aloha for our King, Queen, and Prince Royal and for our government. All true patriots love the flag of their country, and when they see it, it fills them with joy. This is a new idea to print a flag in colors in a newspaper. So January 1st, 1862, world record. During the time of our kingdom, when we understood our language, we was hitting world records around the world that no other country or people did before. Our writing in our Hawaiian language repository is the largest in the Pacific. More than any other indigenous people in the Pacific, we times whatever they had by 1,000. We wrote so much. And this is just a small snippet, yeah? This newspaper, January 1st in 1862. The reason why I share this is because ua hana mua ia ke ia hai ka makahiki umi kumamawalu umi kumamaono no Kamehameha Ekahi. The Hawaiian flag was designed for King Kamehameha Ekahi in the year 1816. This year is 200 years of this flag. I was like, whoa! I was floored when I found this about 5 years ago. And I started sharing it with everybody. And I wanted someone to celebrate this and share it out, because this is the origin of our first international trade and engagement with sandalwood. So the ship, the Forester, sails into Kealakekua Bay. Kamehameha I sees the ship, smaller, really fast, has 16 cannons. It's one destroyer on the ocean, new class, innovation. He buys the ship, he buys the captain, and he said, you can take the first sandalwood shipment to China, because they love our China, they pay top dollar, and you're gonna fly this high Hawaii on the ship. The ship goes to China, the authorities come out, oh, we don't recognize that ship, we're gonna blow you up, you're a pirate. Yeah, the British captain that was commissioned by Kamehameha pulls this flag down and puts up the British flag, and then they allow him to go in. And then he shares the story, what happened, why they used the flag. And then the shipment of sandalwood gets taxed heavily, 2/3 gone. So when Captain Alexander returns to Hawaii and tells Kamehameha about the harbor duty tax, he's like, what? They're gonna take more than half. Yep. Then he proclaimed, from this day forward, all foreign ships that enter any harbor in Hawaii will get taxed. And this is the origin of harbor duties in Hawaii. And this is the origin of our identity. And if you didn't know this, then you were duped. Yeah? And it's okay, because I was duped for a long time. Yeah, but keia manawa hiki a kako ke helu helu I ko kako o lelo o na kupuna. And aya keia mau atikala ma ka puna I vele I hiki a kako ke helu helu. Oia ka helu e kahi e ho o mau popo I ko kako kino, I ko kako la ana, ya. I hiki ke ho o mau I ke ano ke kino. Yeah? It is imperative for us to learn our language and to go online in the free online database where 1 million typescript pages of Hawaiian history is. And we must dive back into there, and then the truth is there. Because everything after 1893, illegal overthrow, imprisonment of the Queen, to me is tainted. In one way, shape, or another, anything after that constantly seeks to take away, constantly seeks to disintegrate, constantly seeks to control us and put us in these boundaries. But stories like this free us. And then, yeah. So, Maikai Kela? Okay. So another thing for me is, because they overthrew the Queen, they overthrew our government, so I always fly the high Hawaii upside down. Because they overthrew my government from my Queen. Until they correct 123 years of illegality, destruction, Americanization, and all of the other crimes of destroying the most beautiful land on this entire earth. They need to pay reparations, they need to fix everything, they need to take every stinking bomb and clean up every little piece of uranium that's poisoned our reefs, our fishes. And when we eat from these things that are poisoning us, to me, we're in a state of civil war. They're constantly trying to make it hard for us to live. My recent example is Governor Ige's no trespass law that's gonna hurt the Hawaiians that are homeless. I'm really angry about that. Where else are we gonna put them? Yeah? Because in some of these stories, you know, when we had oppressive chiefs, that top 1%, and if we decided that this chief was oppressive, a lot of our stories said that we killed the king. We killed the oppressive chief. I have tons of stories like this in here. Yeah? We need to fix something right away because our people is hurt. And they're gonna hurt more as the generations to come if we don't do anything. And there's not anything, yeah, when I infiltrated that program. What they're doing is they're pitting native Hawaiians on the continent against Hawaiians here. Yeah, right now, they have more voters up there. Yeah, they don't come over here and ask what's happening, what's going on. They go, they see the American tribe, they see the reservation, and they go, I want that. And that's what they're doing all across the country. Yeah, because they have large numbers there. But, hewa ke la. Aole mai ka I ke la no kako maane I ke ia Āina Aloha. Okay? So any questions? Sorry, I go off a little bit, yeah? Okay, so the kino, Makapuke mo o lelo o Hawaii na David Amalo, in the book that was compiled through David Marlowe's writings. He talked about the civil polity, or the kino, as a basic structure of governance, basic structure of how our people worked together, how experts from different areas worked together to provide that knowledge and expertise to the entire kino, so that the hand, the feet, and the body can move together as one. You have the right hand going one way, left hand going that way, right foot, we're not going anywhere, we're going to fall down. Yeah? So, the right hand in this book was explained to be the kahuna. And how we transition this structure is we use terminology in today's world. So kahuna, spiritual and cultural leaders, teachers, educators, the healers, the scientists, the medical doctors, the nurses, the dentists, you guys would all go into the right hand, the kahuna section. The kalaimoku, number 2, the left hand, that would be composed of political leaders, lawyers, politicians, economists, administrators, secretaries. All of those professions today would be in the kalaimoku section. The third section, the third leg, the left leg is the mahi'ai and the lawai'a. So that is the farmers, the fishermen, the hunters, the gatherers, the resource cultivators, productions of all of those things. Yeah. Number 4, the right leg, is the nakoa, or the warriors, the protectors, resource managers, law enforcers, secure the national interest. Number 5, manovai. So we created the manovai as a circulatory system to communicate with all the different parts. So you're gonna be the ones whose expertise is in communications. So like Hawaiian Tel, internet, news, newspaper, making flyers for an event, media, technology, networking, specialities. Okay, is there any questions on any of the parts? Because what we're gonna do now is, we're gonna have an activity where we can put this system, this structure in practice for a goal. And that goal, I'll share with you in a little bit. Any questions out there? No? Okay, great. So, if you feel like you're a spiritual, cultural leader, kumu, and educator, the kahuna, I'm gonna ask you guys to come over here, use these chairs, and congregate over here when I say go, not yet. Okay? And then the kalaimoku, you're gonna go on this side, use those chairs, go in a circle, and you'll be over there. Oh no, you know what? That can look funny kind. The kahuna gotta go up there, and the kalaimoku gotta go up there, because then the feet gonna be over here. Yeah. So then kalaimoku up there, kahuna up there, nako over here, mahi'ai and lawai'a over here, and then manovai right in the middle. Okay, I'll give you guys a few minutes, 2 minutes to get into your space. Ready, set, go.
If you have questions, we're going to have alaka'i that have been assigned to each group. So we have for the kalaimoku, we have Kehao, Terry, Delmar, and Doris. Kalaimoku.
Kahuna up there in that corner. Nako over here in this corner. Kalaimoku right here in these chairs. No, Kalaimoku up there. Mahi'ai and lawai'a over here. Nakoa is right here in these chairs. Oh, no more po'o, because she get put in jail and that position isn't in place right now.
What is the moi? Where's the moi at?
Oh, that's the mo'i, same thing. The mo'i was the po'o for the kino.
And what is the kino?
Yep. Up there, kahuna up to the right on those bleachers.
Huh? The body of who? That's what we're representing. Because I'm the moi of one organization, and I'm the po'o of one organization. Whereas my kahuna sits in this corner. So where would I stand? I'm the head leader of one organization, and my kahuna is in that corner over there. So where would I stand?
You go stand with the kahuna.
Yeah.
So we have the kahuna. Who's gonna kaka'o the kahuna? Lei? Okay, kahuna in the corner up there to the right. Did anybody kaka'o the kahuna, or I shall do it? If you guys want me to do it? Okay. And then the nako right here, this is kaka'ohu. So if you are a kia'i, firefighter, police officer, if you guard over others, a protester, right here in this corner, in the front. So kaka'ohu, he's gonna kaka'o that. So the left over here, this is the mahi Āina and kaipo. Kaipo, say aloha, kaipo anakahi, woo! So kaipo is one of our kia'i that was arrested at the gates of Naiapuni. But he is also a mahi Āina. He's also part kahuna, he's part kia'i, part mamahai, part talaimoku. But right now, the what he manifests right now is he's representing the mahi Āina. Up on the upper left, we have the talaimoku. And the talaimoku, I understand, has been designated to some of the communities from Papakōlea. Kehao, Terry, Delmont, or Doris is up. Honey, you should raise your hand. We also have Lehu. Lehu is over there. We're going to use polo over here, so somebody could go, if Aloha could come down and grab a couple pieces of this, so you can use this to take your notes. So the Aloha could come down and grab a couple pieces of everything hands. And come on by. You know, it's not going to go, okay? We're not going to make you, we're not going to break this down and go to the road. This can evolve as we learn more. And in the center we have another line up. If you could go in the center line up. Line up is your Papakōlea here. In the center right there, Papakōlea.
Okay, and I think one challenge we've had in the past with our own people is everybody like need a po'o. Everybody like need a mo'i. Everybody like tell everybody what to do. That's why in this structure there is no po'o, there is no mo'i. Yeah? And then we work from the ground up because when you read the story at the bottom of David Marlowe's authorship, it says the body can still move without the head.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna stop.
And to me, the body and all the different parts